Welcome everybody to look at a new single disc release from Eureka, and it is 1966's The Diabolical Dr. Z, also known as Miss Muerta, which in English is Miss Death, which I feel is a bit more of an appropriate title. And yeah, this is directed by Franco, who also did The Bloody Judge and Night of the Skull. Decent enough films, but I didn't particularly care for The Bloody Judge in a lot of ways, despite Christopher Lee putting in a good performance. So this is a horror film, clocking in at 86 minutes long. Stars the likes of Mabel Carr, who was in The Colossus of Rhodes, as well as Howard Vernon, who was in The Thousand Eyes of Dr. Mabusa, and The Bloody Judge as well. So a woman seeks to avenge her father's death using a local dancer with long, poisonous fingernails to do her bidding. So, although the title doesn't really make much sense given the titular Dr. Z is neither all that diabolical, he doesn't kill anyone or anything like that. It does suggest doing human experiments on the those that are convicted and sentenced to death anyway. But besides that, yeah, not really all that diabolical. And at the end of the day, he also dies before the first act is even concluded. So, but the rest of this does mostly work. It is generally engaging, has great cinematography, with a particular scene looking like it was ripped right from a silent film. You wouldn't even need any audio or anything like that because the music is working really well with the cinematography. So yeah, it just feels like it's been taken from like a 1920s horror film. Um, the pacing is on point, the cast is good, there is some decent tension, and the production design is solid as well. So, yeah, overall, a solid effort. Not spectacular, certainly not my favourite single disc release that we've had from Eureka. This is from Eureka Classics, I believe. Um, but yeah, like I said, not my favourite release from them, but still a solid enough effort. 3.5 out of 5 overall. So yeah, this was a French and Spanish co-production. I think it was 60% Spanish, 40% French. But it is uh, got a French language soundtrack and an optional English language soundtrack as well. So no Spanish one there, even though it was also produced by a Spanish company. This slipcase is limited edition. It's got new artwork by Puchami. Really like the artwork though. It does get across the film in an effective way. There's the long fingernails that are poison and are used to kill individual men. So yeah, we also have the disc, which is printed in a way that you'll know full well what it's referencing in the film. And then we have the alternative title on the sleeve, which, like I said, does make more sense. Miss Death, considering it's a woman that is dishing out these killings, either as the actual person that's killing them or the one that is controlling the person that's killing them is also a woman. So yeah, Miss Death does feel it does make more sense as a title as far as I'm concerned. We also have a booklet with this release with a really rather provocative image on the reverse. So avert your gaze if you're against such things. And inside the booklet, you've got your cast and your crew. And then we've got Franco Will See You Now, celebrating 60 years of the Diabolical Dr. Z by Antonio Lazaro Rabal, who is a reader in Hispanic Studies at the University of Kent. He is the author of Spanish horror film and co-editor of the films of Jess Franco, Spanish popular cinema, and defining cult movies, The Cultural Politics of Oppositional Taste. So yeah, this looks like a decent write-up, again with shots from the film like we've seen many a time. There's surgery that is occurring on one person that is initially tried to use to control and kill. And yeah, then we've got view notes as well. So the film is presented in the 1:66 aspect ratio. So adjust your screen accordingly if you need to. And then on the disc itself, we've got a 1080p presentation from a 2K restoration by Gaumont Film Company. Audio commentary by genre film expert and video watchdog founder Tim Lucas. Optional English subtitles. Death on the Continent, new discussion of European Gothic horror with Xavier Aldana Reyes, author of Spanish Gothic. Awful, diabolical, sadistic, new video essay by film historian Sam Dayan in Mad Science and Gothic Horror from Mary Shelley to Jess Franco. And then we've got archival interview with screenwriter Jean-Claude Carrière. archival interview with film historian Lucas Balbo, archival interview with Stefan de Mesnildo, journalist and author of Yes Franco, Energy de Phantasm. And then we've got original theatrical trailer and the limited edition booklet alongside, obviously, this limited edition slipcover. So, yeah, overall, like I said, a solid film, but by no means my favourite single disc release from Eureka. Again, not sure if this is Eureka Classics or not. Doesn't say, but it'll say on the website if you're curious. And obviously, the title of this video will reflect whether or not it is or not. But yeah, as far as single disc releases in terms of horror or anything like that, yeah, definitely seen better and had better from Eureka already. From this year in particular, or previous years, but still, it's well worth seeing, especially if you're into your Euro horror and looking for something a little bit different. And it is definitely my favourite of the films that I've seen from the director so far. Hopefully, there are other films out there from him that are even better than this, or at least as good. Because, like I said, The Bloody Judge I didn't much care for, and Night the Skull is better than The Bloody Judge, but still by no means great. But this is, yeah, like I said, definitely the better of the three. So, yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.